Thank you guys for coming out tonight. My name is Brendan and we're here with Drexel University VR. And tonight we are going to be going over how to track a physical object inside VR. So in this case, we're going to be tracking this chair. So as you can see, we just lose tracking. Let's get it back. Okay, here we go. So we're going to be tracking this chair inside VR. You can sit on it and everything. Alright, we'll jump right into it. So yeah, right now that Vive controller is just taped to the chair. Pretty secure. You want it to be secure just so it doesn't wiggle at all, because if it wiggles it will lose the tracking or lose precision the tracking. But yeah, we're going to start off in Maya actually, and we are going to, I'll just save. Don't really need that. We're going to start off with a Maya scene, and we're going to show you how to export a OBJ file so that we can bring it in from Maya to Unity and it's textured and everything. So let's jump into Maya. All right. Give this a second to load up. Alright. Alright, so this is our chair. Oh, just lost it. Oh, here we go. Mine just bugging out a little bit. So what we want to make sure is that our whole chair is zeroed out. So if it's not, you can just go through these values and just set them all to 0, and then we're going to freeze the transformations. Can't really see from this one. Modify it, yeah, thank you. Freeze transformations, and then also modify center pivot. And then we are just going to select everything and do a file export selection. And right here at the bottom, we're going to change the file type to OBJ. That's what it's on right now. And you want to make sure that materials is checked on. So we'll do that. And we'll just save it out. And then we'll just say this is the chair. Okay, cool. And then now we'll have that. These are all of our assets. So we're going, now that we have the chair, we also have the room, we exported that before the tutorial. But we're just going to jump right into a new Unity project. So we'll wait for that to load. All right, and all we're going to do is create a new Unity project. We can call this whatever we want. We'll just call it PUVR chair tracking. All right, and make sure that it's a 3D project. You can just create that project. All right, so jumped right into Unity. And the first thing that we're going to want to do is bring in the Steam VR asset into your Unity project, and what that's going to do is allow Unity to recognize the headset and the controllers as the camera inside of VR. Right. So the way we do that is we're going to go to our asset store, so Windows Asset Store. And here, I'll just pop this out. Hey man, welcome. We're just going through a Unity tutorial on how to track that chair inside of the VR.
Oh, awesome.
All right, so we're just going to search for an asset called Steam VR. Right here, the first one. Give it a second to load. And yeah, it should say download, but since I have it downloaded, it's just going to say import, and that's what we're going to do. Should take a second. All right. And yes, we want to import everything. Yeah, the asset store is really great. It has a few different plugins that allow you to get started with VR development very quickly. Another one I recommend checking out is VRTK. That stands for VR Toolkit. And that comes with a lot of baked-in functionality in terms of using the controllers to interact with your scene and, for example, pick up objects or throw a frisbee or something like that. That's all possible through some scripts that you just have to attach inside of your hierarchy. You don't have to do any coding for that. So it's a lot of the stuff baked in. What's going on?
Is this all, is it interchangeable with the Oculus?
Yeah, so actually Steam VR works with the Oculus as well. With OpenVR, that's kind of like the open source VR SDK. And so yeah, anything that works with the Steam VR will also work with Oculus. But actually not necessarily the way around. So if you develop using the Oculus SDK, it won't work inside of the Vive.
Yeah, because they're proprietary.
Exactly, yeah. So yeah, just go ahead. I made a backup, doesn't matter. I think there's going to be one more window that pops up. Give it a second. All right. All right, so it should be inside. Oh yeah, here we go. And all we have to do is accept all. We made the right choice. Yeah. See, we're doing pretty well so far. All right, and now what we're going to do is grab our room asset and our chair asset so we can bring them into Unity. We can close the asset store for now. Shuffle start files. So, what's going on, guys?
Yeah.
So yeah, we're just going to bring the chair and the room in, and you'll notice that there's an OBJ file and a material file. You want to make sure both of those are next to each other, so that the OBJ can have the correct materials with it. And we're just going to drag this into our assets. Cool. So next thing we're going to do is drag the Steam VR camera rig prefab into our hierarchy, and that's going to bring the VR headset into our scene. So that's in Steam VR, and then go into prefabs, and then you'll notice the camera rig is right here packaged up for you. So just drag this into your hierarchy, and you want to double check that the transform of your camera rig is all zeroed out. And if it's not, you can just click this settings thing and then reset. And then that's important. And another important thing is to make sure that the main camera is deleted from your scene. We won't be needing that because we have our camera rig from Steam VR. All right, and so now if we press play, we have the headset tracking. There's obviously nothing in our scene, but that's what we're going to do next. We're going to bring our room into VR. All right, and so here's our room asset, and we're just going to drag this up into our hierarchy. And this is a tricky thing. You'll notice that when exporting objects from Maya or Blender or whatever 3D modeling program you're using and bringing them into Unity, sometimes there's issue with scale, and it's really easy to fix, and we'll actually show you how to do that right now. So yeah, as you can tell, our room is ginormous, so we're just going to shrink it down a little bit. We'll try 0.01 for the X, Y, and Z values. And I actually need a volunteer. Who wants to be the person with the headset? No? All right, so here you are. Okay. You can adjust that to your head. All right, and we're just gonna see if we're inside the room properly right now. Okay.
Looks good.
Looks good. Do you feel like it could be a little bit bigger, maybe?
Yeah, just a tiny bit.
Just a tiny bit. All right. Well, I'm gonna pop you out of VR, and we'll just make it a tiny bit bigger.
Alright.
We'll add. All right. How about now?
Yeah, that's nice.
That feels good. Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. So now that we're inside the room, I mean that's easy enough. We're going to actually, yeah. You notice that there's actually a chair in the room. We're gonna delete that chair from our room asset. That's in our hierarchy. Yeah. If we go down, yeah, you can take the headset off for now. We're gonna delete all of these chair. So yeah, we can break this pretty down. That's fine. Delete that too. All right, so we have our room now, and we have our controllers and our headset tracking. All right, that one's on. Okay, cool. So now what we're gonna do is basically what this is already doing. We're gonna attach this controller to our chair. So we're gonna bring our chair into the scene. So we're just gonna drag that from our assets into our hierarchy. And yeah, again, you'll notice our chair is huge. So we're just gonna scale that down by the same factor. All right, so yeah, you'll notice that's chilling right here at our origin at 0, 0, 0, and that's perfect actually because when we attach it to our controller, you'll notice that it actually begins at 0, 0, 0. So before you press play, the origin of the controller is going to be zeroed out. So what we're gonna want to make the chair at 0, 0, 0. Which is perfect, and we're just going to drag the chair in our hierarchy onto our right controller. You can choose the right or the left, it doesn't matter, but right now we have the right controller taped to the chair. All right, and yeah, as you'll notice, if you want to pop back in VR, Mike, I just want to point out something really quickly. So yeah, you'll notice that the chair isn't in the right orientation. So if you were to, why don't you grab the, you can move the chair around. You'll see that it's tracking the chair, but yeah, obviously the chair's not in the right orientation. So we're gonna fix that right now. And yeah, if you don't mind, keep looking at the chair so I can see it. We're gonna use the rotate tool with the chair selected to make it level with the ground. Give it a little bit of rotation this way. And we're just going to move it down a bit. Oops. Just want to make sure it's inside the ground properly.
A good angle there.
Yeah, I'm also looking at the scene view, so you're pretty good right now, Mike. Thank you, though. Just rotate a little bit more forward so it's flat. All right, that's looking pretty good. So yeah, Mike, if you were to grab the chair right now, you'll notice there's one quick thing. Yeah, so the controller isn't lined up with the back of the chair like the way it is taped. So I'm just going to move the chair model a little bit forward so it's lining up with the back of the chair. All right, we can just grab this blue one. Yep. Sorry to mess with you. But yeah, so now that's lined up, so that's perfect.
Cool.
All right, and one thing we want to be careful of is if we were to press pause right now to hop out of the game mode, we would actually lose our rotation and position values. So one way we can get around that is if we click the settings cog again and just say copy component, That's going to copy all of our position and rotation values so that once we pop out, with the chair selected, all we have to do is click the cog again and then paste component values. And you'll notice that the chair is kind of in a weird orientation down here, but because that's where the controller origin is. But if we were to press play again, and if the controller was tracking, which it's not right now, let me take a look at this. Okay, yeah, it's back. Yeah, you'll notice that the chair is tracking. How is it? Is it in the right position?
Yeah, that's like exact actually. That's really nice.
Sweet. So yeah, I mean, like, yeah, you can take a seat and like swivel around, like, there you go. And it's cool because this technique can be used for other objects. So if maybe like a baseball bat or a tennis racket or like a fire hose, it could be used to track physical objects and give you a little bit more presence than just interacting with the mere controllers. So yeah, it's a pretty cool technique. And one thing we can do to add a little bit more immersion is we'll just get rid of the controller. We'll get rid of the model of it. So basically make the controller invisible. So if you were to select the model right here under the right controller and just uncheck it in the inspector, if we pop back into VR and if we jiggle the chair again, oh there we go. Yeah, you'll notice that the controller isn't there anymore. So that's nice if you want to add a little bit more immersion. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for checking it out. Cool.